The 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid is finally here, and let me tell you, this truck has stirred up more conversations than just about any mid-size pickup in recent years. I know a lot of people out there have been waiting to see how Toyota would evolve their most iconic truck for a new era, and the answer is pretty exciting. You've probably heard that the Tacoma is the best-selling mid-size truck in the US for nearly 2 decades, but now, in 2026, Toyota is raising the stakes with a hybrid powertrain that doesn't just sip fuel more efficiently, but also gives this Tacoma a serious performance bump, up to 326 horsepower. And yes, we're going to talk about how that feels behind the wheel, because wait until you hear how it actually drives. When you first see the 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid in person, the first thing that jumps out at you is the bold design. Toyota didn't hold back on making it look tougher and more modern at the same time. Up front, the grille is massive, with that signature hexagonal Toyota style that makes it look like it's ready to eat up the road. The LED headlights are sharp, almost like squinting eyes, and when they flick on, especially at dusk, they give the Tacoma a serious presence. The hood has these muscular lines that hint at what's hiding underneath. And the stance is wide and planted, like it's saying, yeah, I can handle whatever trail you're about to throw at me. Compared to the older Tacomas, the 2026 version looks more refined, but without losing that rugged edge that fans love. Park it next to a Ford Ranger or a Chevy Colorado, and you'll notice how Toyota went for a bolder, almost aggressive look, while the others lean a bit safer. And I think that's part of what makes this truck stand out on the road. It looks like a Tacoma, but more confident. Now, step inside, and the surprises keep coming. Toyota has clearly been listening to the feedback, because the interior of the 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid feels like a big step up from the older models. You're greeted by a large 14-inch touchscreen on the higher trims, which is crisp, responsive, and finally feels like it belongs in 2026, not 2016. Even the base trims get a generous 8-inch screen, which is plenty functional. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless, the graphics are sharp, and the menus don't feel cluttered. And here's something you'll love. The physical knobs are still there for volume and climate. Toyota knew better than to ditch those completely. And trust me, when you're bouncing around on a trail, you'll be glad you're not hunting through menus just to adjust the temperature. The seats are supportive, with available leather on the higher trims, and they have this nice bolstering that hugs you without being too aggressive. Space has improved, especially for rear passengers, which used to be a weak spot in the Tacoma lineup. Now, adults can sit in the back without feeling like their knees are kissing the front seat backs. And that's a win if you plan on using this truck for family duty as much as for weekend adventures. Of course, the big story with the 2026 Tacoma Hybrid is what's under the hood. Toyota calls it the iForce Max Hybrid system, and it pairs a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an electric motor, giving you a total of 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. And let's just pause there, because that torque number is wild for a mid-size truck. That's more than some full-size trucks from a few years ago. The result is instant low-end grunt. You tap the accelerator, and the Tacoma Hybrid just surges forward, whether you're merging onto the highway or crawling over rocks. And speaking of crawling, the hybrid system isn't just about speed or efficiency. It actually helps off-road. The electric motor provides that instant torque at low speeds, which means smoother climbs and better control when you're tackling tricky terrain. Toyota knew their audience, and they built this hybrid system not just to save gas, but to enhance capability. Driving the 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid feels like Toyota finally gave the Tacoma the muscle it always deserved. In the past, people loved the truck's reliability and ruggedness, but they often admitted it felt underpowered compared to rivals. Well, not anymore. This Tacoma has real punch, and the 8-speed automatic transmission shifts cleanly, with no hunting or hesitation. On the highway, it cruises quietly, thanks to extra sound insulation and a suspension that strikes a great balance between firmness and comfort. Around town, it feels manageable, not like a big unwieldy beast, which is exactly what mid-sized truck buyers want. And when you take it off-road, that's where the Tacoma Hybrid truly shines. Toyota still offers it with serious off-road trims like the TRD Pro, which comes with Fox shocks, skid plates, and beefier tires. The hybrid powertrain blends seamlessly with all those off-road features, giving you confidence whether you're on sand, mud, or climbing over rocks. It's still a Tacoma at heart, just a stronger, more versatile one. Now let's talk features, because Toyota didn't skimp on tech. The 2026 Tacoma Hybrid comes with Toyota's Safety Sense Suite standard, so you get adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, and automatic emergency braking across the lineup. That's peace of mind built in. Higher trims get a surround view camera system, which is a lifesaver when you're parking in tight city spots or navigating trails where you can't see over the hood. Another cool addition is the digital rearview mirror, which uses a camera feed to give you an unobstructed view, even if you've got a bed full of gear blocking your line of sight. And speaking of the bed, Toyota made it even more practical, with extra tie-downs, a power outlet for tools or camping gear, and a durable composite liner that won't rust or dent like traditional steel. It's little things like this that make the Tacoma not just fun to drive, but super useful day to day. Fuel economy is another win for the hybrid system. While the exact EPA numbers vary depending on trim and configuration, you can expect the Tacoma Hybrid to pull significantly better mileage than the old V6. We're talking high 20s in miles per gallon combined for most models, which in truck terms is pretty impressive. That means you're getting the power boost without paying the penalty at the pump, and in today's world, that's a big deal. You'll save money long term, and you won't feel like you're compromising on capability. Of course, we have to talk price, because I know you're wondering what this all costs. The 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid starts around the mid-$40,000 range for the lower trims, and if you want a fully loaded TRD Pro with all the bells and whistles, you're looking closer to the mid-$60,000s. That's not cheap, but when you consider what you're getting, a truck that's more powerful, more efficient, and packed with tech, it feels like a fair deal. And honestly, the Tacoma has always held its value better than almost any other truck in its class, so you can think of it as money well spent. Compared to rivals, the Ford Ranger Raptor is pricier, the Chevy Colorado ZR2 is in the same ballpark, and the Nissan Frontier doesn't even come close in terms of hybrid tech or power. Now, let's be honest. No truck is perfect, and the 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid has its pros and cons. On the plus side, you've got that class-leading hybrid powertrain, a much nicer interior, and Toyota's legendary reliability backing it all up. The styling is bold, the off-road chops are better than ever, and the fuel economy makes it more livable as a daily driver. On the downside, the price might scare some buyers who just want a basic truck, and while the rear seat space is improved, it's still not as roomy as some full-size options. Also, some purists might miss the simplicity of the old naturally aspirated V6, even though the hybrid outperforms it in every way. But when you weigh it all out, the 2026 Tacoma Hybrid feels like the future of this segment, and Toyota nailed the balance between tradition and innovation. So here's my verdict. If you're in the market for a mid-sized truck in 2026, the Toyota Tacoma Hybrid should absolutely be on your shortlist. It's more powerful, more efficient, and more refined than any Tacoma before it. It's versatile enough to be a comfortable daily driver, a capable off-roader, and a reliable workhorse, all wrapped up in one sharp-looking package. Toyota didn't just update the Tacoma. They redefined what a mid-sized truck can be, and the result is seriously impressive. If you've been waiting for the right time to jump into the Tacoma family, this is it. The 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid feels like the sweet spot where power, efficiency, and practicality all meet. And wait until you get behind the wheel. You'll feel that 465 pound-feet of torque and wonder how you ever lived without it. Thanks for hanging out with me today and taking a closer look at this truck. If you enjoyed this review of the 2026 Toyota Tacoma Hybrid, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got plenty more car and truck reviews coming your way. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's next.